Every time you send a message to an AI, something happens that you cannot see. Somewhere in the world, a massive data center lights up to process your request. Electricity surges through thousands of servers. Water flows through cooling systems to stop them from overheating. And carbon enters the atmosphere. You get your answer in seconds, but here's the part most people never think about. By 2030, AI data centers could consume enough electricity to power 650 million homes for an entire year. The planet pays a price you never see on your screen. There is an old saying, every rose has its thorns. AI is no different. Today, we look at both the rose and the thorns. Honestly. Let's start with energy, because everything else flows from here. According to the United Nations University, in a report published on June 3, 2026, by 2030, global data centers powering AI are projected to consume 945 terawatt hours of electricity every single year. That is enough electricity to power 650 million homes for an entire year. And AI is widely considered one of the largest drivers of that growth. Now let's talk about carbon. As the saying goes, we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. The question AI forces us to ask is, are we borrowing responsibly? According to the International Energy Agency's April 2026 report, data center emissions are projected to double, reaching around 350 million tons annually by 2035. And data centers are among the fastest growing sources of emissions on the planet right now. That is a number that deserves a moment of silence. Carbon gets most of the attention, but there is another cost that almost nobody is talking about: water. Data centers require enormous amounts of water for cooling. The servers generate extreme heat, and that heat has to go somewhere. According to the United Nations University report from June 3, 2026, AI's water footprint by 2030 could equal the basic annual domestic water needs of 1.3 billion people. 1.3 billion people. One full year of their water needs used by AI data centers. And according to analysis published by the European Commission in March 2026, by 2027, data centers could consume around 5 billion cubic meters of water annually worldwide. That is enough water to fill 2 million Olympic swimming pools every single year. Beyond energy, carbon, and water, the UN University June 2026 report also warns of a growing electronic waste challenge as AI infrastructure continues to expand. And it makes one point that stayed with me long after I read it. The benefits of AI are global, but the environmental costs are concentrated in specific regions, often the ones least able to bear them. That is not just a technology problem. That is an equity problem. The same report also highlights a critical gap in how AI's environmental impact is measured. Greenhouse gas emissions tend to be prioritized, but this overlooks water and land costs, which are equally significant. What we measure is what we manage, and right now, we are not measuring enough. Now, here is where this story gets complicated, and here is where most coverage gets it completely wrong. Because AI is not just causing an environmental problem. The same fire that melts butter also hardens steel. The same AI creating these problems may be our most powerful tool to solve them. Columbia University's Climate School, in a report published in May 2026, describes AI as a two-sided coin with tremendous potential to benefit the environment. AI can predict energy demand in real time, directing electricity exactly where it is needed, preventing waste, and helping integrate renewable power into the grid more efficiently. The United Nations Environment Program uses AI to detect when oil and gas installations vent methane, one of the most damaging greenhouse gases, catching leaks that humans would miss entirely. And here is the number that gives me genuine hope. The International Energy Agency suggested in early 2026 that AI could reduce global emissions by up to 5% by 2035, by speeding up energy sector innovations and helping scientists develop new solar and battery technologies. That would potentially offset the emissions generated by data centers entirely. The same technology creating the problem may be our best tool for solving it, but only if we are honest about both sides. So where does this leave us? UN researchers have urged policymakers and industry leaders to transition AI infrastructure toward renewable energy sources. And there is genuinely interesting progress being reported. Researchers from the European Commission published findings in March 2026 showing that the waste heat produced by AI data centers, heat that currently goes to waste, could actually be repurposed to capture carbon directly from the air and even purify water. Think about that. The same infrastructure causing the problem could become part of the solution. But progress requires accountability, and accountability requires transparency. The UN University report calls for carbon, water, and land footprints to all be treated as material risks, not just carbon alone. Because what we measure is what we manage. 3 things worth knowing as an AI user. Number 1, not all AI is equal. Smaller, more efficient models use significantly less energy than large ones. Models like Mistral, Llama, and Phi 3, designed to be lightweight and efficient, can handle many everyday tasks with a fraction of the environmental cost of larger models. When you have a choice, smaller and more specialized tools are better for the planet. Number 2, where AI is hosted matters. Data centers powered by renewable energy have a dramatically lower environmental footprint. Companies are increasingly publishing their energy sources, and the pressure from users and investors is working. Number 3, awareness is the first step. The fact that you now know this puts you ahead of most AI users. Informed users create informed demand, and informed demand changes how companies build. The wisest people throughout history never saw the world in black and white, because the most important things rarely are. AI is not simply good or bad for our planet. It is both, at the same time. And what it becomes depends entirely on the choices we make right now. This is Neural Brief. Every week, the AI and tech stories that actually matter for your life, your future, and our planet. Subscribe if you want coverage that does not simplify things just to make you feel better. And drop a comment below. Do you think AI's environmental benefits will outweigh its costs? Or if there is a topic you want me to cover, let me know. I read every single one. See you in the next brief.